Hello, everyone. Welcome to Intrigue the podcast, where we talk to people from different industries. Today, we're joined by Aparna Velpuri Venkata. Aparna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are
Thank
you
you for
doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. So I want to talk about your career, but before that, let's start with your childhood. So where did you grow up? How was your childhood?
I grew up in India, Sri Harikota. That's where my dad used to work for ISRO. So all my childhood was in that. And I studied in the same school, like it is called Space Central School. So it is part of that organization as well. So all my studies, till 10th, I was studying there.
Oh, from kindergarten until 10th grade?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you had the same friends all throughout. Is that correct?
Yeah. Throughout, till it was like till 12 years. So all 12 years I mean, though I was going to just like here, how we have like elementary school, middle school, high school. So there also we have for kindergarten, we have one school. And then till fifth, we have another school, which is called elementary school. And then we don't have anything like middle school, but directly we have high school. So which is like from 6th to 10th. So I was going to the different schools, but along with me, everybody used to come. So all my set of friends, they used to just transfer along with me.
Oh, that's so nice. So you didn't have to like make new friends or anything like that, unless someone transfers in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what subjects did you like to learn, and what were you like as a kid?
My favorite subjects were actually science. I used to be so interested always in science and math. These were my two favorite subjects. And then the next comes Hindi. So that's our national language. So I used to like that language as well.
Okay.
And most tough subject for me when throughout my school was social studies. It was so hard for me to remember the dates and the persons' names and the places, and especially history. I'm talking about geography was fine. Geography I used to still enjoy it, but the history part was bit hard. I mean, though now I enjoy it, looking at the history and looking at the wars and kings and all that. I enjoy now, but when I was a kid, I was always not so much interested in that. Like I used to just for the sake of exams, I used to study and then attend the exams.
So the memorization part was not your forte at all.
Yeah, it was a bit hard, I would say. I mean, now I enjoy, but that time it was a bit hard for me.
So I guess you didn't like biology as much, right? Because
No,
it's a lot of memorization.
no, biology was very hard for me. That was hardest subject, another hardest subject.
I see. How about art? Did you like music, art, all that stuff?
Yeah, music. I have actually learned music, Indian music, just for a couple of years. I've learned, and then I didn't get much time to do multiple activities, like because I was busy with studies, so I couldn't continue that one. Though I regret now. I should have done that. That time I was I didn't realize the importance of that. So I just thought I'm just wasting my time. So I just left it.
Okay. Wait, why do you regret that now?
Because now I enjoy music. So I'm encouraging my son to learn music, Indian music. So whenever he sings, like I also think, oh, I should have continued. Because I love to sing. Like I sing actually. Though I'm not a great singer, but still I do singing just inside my house though, not outside.
Okay.
Only my family members will bear my singing. I mean, I'm not that bad though, but still, yeah. But
Oh, I
I
didn't
get
know.
I get scared if I have to sing in front of anybody. But With my family, I'm totally fine, and they also don't say anything. They don't make fun of me first thing, so I just sing in front of them.
Oh, that's awesome. We should hear you sing sometime.
Only Indian songs.
Cool. That's awesome. And then as a kid, like, were you very studious? Did you try to get good grades? Did you like learning?
Yeah, I was very studious. I always used to think I have to be like first in the class for in everything. So
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, like I feel stupid now if I think of all that. But that time I used to be like that only, like all the time, like whatever they conduct, like we used to have like these debates and all that kind of stuff, like in the within the in the school, like we have like different classes. So with all the classes we used to have those kind of things, and then I used to always think, oh, I should win that, I should win that. I mean, though I win it or not, I keep thinking that.
ah. So were you like naturally competitive
Yeah, naturally competitive.
until now, or
And
not?
now I think I'm fine. I'm not like that anymore, but I
Mm.
used to be like till my schooling I was always like that.
Ah,
Whether, I
okay.
mean, winning, losing is a different thing, but still I used to compete.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
were
used to.
you? Oh,
I
continue.
used to take it like very seriously. Anything I participate, I used to take it very seriously. Nothing was light for me, so I was like that.
Oh, wow.
Irrespective of the result, I used to be like very seriously participating in all the things.
What happened when you lost? Like, did you take that personally, or?
I used to take it personally as well.
Mm,
I used to feel bad. I mean, it's not like I used to sit and cry for a couple of days or anything like that. But I used to feel bad for some time, and after that, I used to just tell myself, okay, that's fine. Next time we will do good. We will do better. So I used to just tell myself, and then even my parents used to encourage me in like that. Even if I lose in anything, then I used to be like, fine, that's okay. Next time, better luck. And then I
nice,
used to just move on. Yeah.
nice. That's awesome. And then high school, like, what were you thinking with regards to college? And did your parents push you into any profession or any major?
No, my mom, like, she always wanted me to become like a doctor. So she
Mm.
was encouraging me to take biology, all that, like, very seriously so I can pursue my medicine. But as I said, like I used to think like biology is so tough, and it was very hard for me to remember those scientific names, especially. I mean, just for the exams, I used to somehow memorize all that and then go and write in the exam. But just going through the same thing throughout my career, I couldn't imagine myself there. And as I said, like I used to enjoy more math. Math, I am really good at it, so I used to enjoy that. So then I told, no, I cannot do science, so I'll just go with math. Then they were like, that's fine. I mean, they used to just tell me, they never pressurized me really. So it was fine.
And then you specialized in math and science in high school, right?
Yeah, yeah. That we used to call that as like 11th and 12th. It was not like a high school thing, but yeah, 11th and 12th I have done in math and science. That was
Mm.
my specialization.
So physics, chemistry, math,
Physics, chemistry, math. Yeah,
no biology.
no biology.
Nice. And then your college choice and major, like what was your thought process?
That was like a interesting story. So after my 12th, we had like an entrance exam. So I have written that entrance exam, and then I got some good rank, some decent rank.
Oh,
Um,
they
I,
rank you?
yeah, they rank.
Oh,
Yeah, they rank. Like in India, it's always ranks. So they have, I got some rank, and then it was like a good decent rank, and then everyone said like I can get into a very good college, and I can get very good like the field majors which I can do. And So we had something called counseling. So that is where we have to go and then we have to choose what college we want. I mean, we can be prepared, but still, like, it can change sometimes and sometimes it doesn't change. But we can be prepared and we have to go there and we can, whatever is available by the time it's your turn, whatever is available, we have to choose in that. So it was like that. So for me, I had like computer science, information technology, electronics, and all these kind of branches which I can choose. And but it was not in the college which I wanted. So I had like some particular colleges in my mind. I mean, when I was doing my 11th and 12th, I mean, I think somebody told, or it was just registered in my mind somehow. So I wanted to get into only those colleges. So whatever those colleges had, I was like, that's okay. It doesn't matter what branch or field I'm taking, but college is very important. That's how I used to think. So in that college, I have got chemical engineering then. So I thought that's okay. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want that college. So I just took that one. So that's how it was. So I
Oh.
was not really prepared to take chemical engineering. It just happened.
Looking back, like, do you regret it, or like, what do you think about that process?
I don't regret it because I still enjoyed my engineering. But I mean that after my counseling, after I have taken that college seat, when I went back to my hometown, then everyone said, "Why did you do that? That you got such a good rank, and why did you choose chemical engineering? You should have taken some computer science because computer science was like so popular that time."
Mm.
So everyone said like you should have taken computer science. Then I said no. In that college, I didn't get computer science, so I took this one. Then they said if not in that college, some other there are so many other good colleges. You should have just taken it. I said that's okay. I'm fine with this.
Mm. So
So
how was
yeah.
college? Like, did you like chemical engineering?
Yeah, I mean, in the first year, it was like everybody used to study the same subjects. Like, it doesn't matter what engineering you have taken, we all have to study the same thing. So that was fine. And then from second year onwards, like, we have to actually, we will actually get the subjects of chemical engineering. So first, like initially, it was fine. Like I was enjoying it, but because it was more like into physics and chemistry, and math. These were the main three subjects there. So I was totally fine and I was enjoying them. But later on, it became tougher and tougher. So it was too much into like I mean science only, but it was like too much. But still, like I used to do so much of hard work to understand, to get good marks and all that. Uh, yeah, I mean, first 2 years I was really good. Like I got very good scores and all. And third year it went little down. Maybe I got too much of distraction. So I didn't pay much attention to studies, or maybe it was very hard that time. So I'm not, or maybe it's a like combination of all.
Mm.
I think it's combination of all. So the scores went down, and then in final year, I realized, oh my God, that is not how it should be. So I was back into my track.
But you were living away from home, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was living, like we say it is a hostel. So I used to live there. Like there were like so many other kids like me. So for all girls, we used to have one hostel. But on boys, there used to be a different hostel. So all girls used to live in that hostel. I mean, whoever
Mm.
is like away from their hometowns used to live there. We used to have fun there. Like the hostel was good and the food was good, so it was fine.
Were the classes competitive? Like, were you still competitive in
Yeah, till
college?
yeah till engineering, I was competitive only. I was still. I mean, as I said, like the first 2 years, I was very studious and competitive and just focused on my studies. Third year, I think it went bit down. Maybe I was not very competitive, and the subjects also became tough. So I that's why I couldn't score much. But in final year, I think I focused more on studies again, so I was fine there.
Okay. So at the end of college, what were you thinking with regards to like your plans after that? Did you consider a career in chemical engineering?
Yeah, after my final year of engineering, I was thinking like, yeah, I can do masters in chemical engineering. So again, for masters, if we want to get in some good college, we should write some entrance examination for that. And so I was preparing for that one. Like after my engineering, I started preparing. I mean, actually, in my final year of engineering itself, I started preparing for that. And so yeah, I have written exam like after my engineering. I have written first time I have written like in the final year itself. I have written the exam, but I didn't get good score. Like whatever I wanted, it was not like a so great score which I can just use it to get into some good college. So I thought maybe I can write again. So I have written after my engineering. I wrote again. So that time I got good scores, but by the time I was writing my exam, I got married. So immediately after my engineering.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So but still, like my husband said, you can still if you want to do the exam and if you want to do your masters, you can. I mean, he was appreciating that. Like he was encouraging me to do my masters, and also I still wrote my exam like after my marriage, and that time I got good scores. But then like I was getting in some good college which I wanted, but that is, and my husband used to live in Bangalore, in India, like southern part of India, and whatever the college I have got was in northern part of India. So I and in my family they said like it's not good to go alone such a far distance. So they said like if you can get something in the same place like where my husband also lives, it will be great. Like that's something they were saying. So I went and attended the counseling again for masters, and then that time luckily like there was some college which they offered masters in information technology, for any background, like doesn't matter if it is chemical or anything, but they can just take information technology and they can just do it. So that college just offered like that. So maybe just for me. So I thought, okay, that's a good news for me. So I just took that one. So it was like on the spot. In just 5 minutes, you have to decide your
Your
career.
future?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Then how did you feel when you
Yeah,
first?
my dad was
Yeah.
with me. We both went, like me and my dad. My husband was writing some exams that time.
Okay.
So he couldn't come with me. So I took my dad, and he was there. And then I was like thinking, I was just discussing with him, what shall I do? What shall I do? He was like, it's okay, you do whatever you want. And then I said, well, it's okay, I'll just take this one. Then I just took it because I had to decide like very quickly because there were other people who are waiting for that. If I say no, they will take it. It was like that. So I said, okay, I will just take it. So I just took it and then I came, but that was a very good decision. Everyone appreciated that decision. And they said, yeah, finally you did a good job. And then I attended the college after that.
How was your master's, like studying IT? Did you struggle in the beginning?
No, actually, luckily, I don't know. Like somehow it was fine for me. Like I was doing good in my masters. Actually, I did pretty good compared to my bachelor's engineering. In masters, like I was getting very good scores and all that. And another thing is, in that college, like only the first year I really had to go to the college, and that too it was like just few days. It was not like from morning till evening just attending. It was not like a school. So whenever there is a class, we have to just go attend, and then we can go back, and then you can study on your own. So it was more like studying on your own rather than sitting and listening to some lectures. And then also we have some conferences where we can attend, and then we can publish some papers. So it was something like that. So it was pretty good and interesting. So and also My husband is also into the computer field, so he also knows. And my dad is also in the same field, so he also knows. So they both also helped me, like initially, like if I had any questions or anything, because initially I was not really understanding what they used to tell and what I used to read from the books. I mean, I had some questions and all that. So, and that time the computers were also like not, I mean, not the computers were there, but internet was not like readily available and all that. So, um, they both helped me. Like initially, they both helped, and then I just studied on my own. I picked it up after that, so I just studied on my own. And in the first year end, I mean, some companies they have just come to recruit for internships. So I got internship. Like I did my internship in Motorola. Motorola, I know if you heard of it.
Yeah, the phone, right?
Yeah. So I got selected there. Like it was just like how we give interviews and all that. So it was exactly the same thing. But in the college itself, so they just I mean, we have to just write the exam in the college. It's like a test they will give, and then they used to do some interviews and all that. And if we get selected, we can just go and do internship there. So I got into that one. So the second year was like more like I was just going to office. It was like that because Monday to Friday I used to just go to Motorola office and then I used to work. I was working like a developer on the on. I did some project like I think it is called Watasu. It's like over the air software update. That was my first project. I can never forget that.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you tell us more about that? Like what did you like? What part did you contribute to?
Yeah, the part which I have more contributed was actually it is like we get some compressed files. I mean that is the software actually. So what is the part which I worked on is like I have to uncompress all the files. So the zip file, whatever we get, right? So I had to write some program in order to decompress all the files.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my project. That was my first project, and then I have done another project also. I mean the decompression of the files. And then I had to send it like and then I had to send it like whatever the phones are available. So I had to just over the air, it had to go and then it had to update the software. So it was like a program for all that. So yeah. So I mean, I don't remember like so much on that, but something like that.
Okay.
That was my first project, and then I have done another project is like in the phone. Now we have like select all option, right? Like there are like so many checkboxes, like say if you want to select so many pictures on your computer, sorry, not a computer, on your phone,
Yes.
and then if you want to share all the pictures at a time, or if you want to delete or whatever it is, if you want to do some multi operation like that, so we should have some checkbox, right? Like select all where it will get selected. So I have written some program on that one. So just adding one checkbox and then making sure it selects everything. And then when it selects, it has to do like the different kinds of operations like share or delete or I don't know what else. Yeah, something like that. So I mean, not like so great projects, but still it was great for me that time.
Yeah, it was a good starting point for you. Like,
Yeah.
this was your first industry
That,
experience, right?
yeah.
Awesome.
And my mentor used to be like so patient with me. Like I had so many questions, like every single minute. What is this? What is that? How is this working? How is this not working? Like that. So, I mean, literally, he used to be like, I mean, if it is somebody else, maybe they would have just ran away from me. But he was like so patient, and he was helping me, and he was mentoring me in the right way. So it was a good industry experience for me. It was for 1 year. I did it for 1 year. Like it started from July and it ended in it started from August and it ended in July. So it was exactly 1 year. And then my second year just went in that. So what happened, like from Monday to Friday, I used to go there. And then Saturday, Sunday, we used to go and attend in the college for classes. So it was a busy and a very tight schedule.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And then at the end of your master's, like, what were you thinking with regards to your career?
Same thing happened like in the, actually in the middle of second year itself, like when I was in Motorola, working as an intern, that time itself, like we have got another companies like where they wanted to take for full time. So I attended those exams and all that, and then I cleared like. So far there I have got into iGate company. I think it's an Indian company.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a multinational company only. It's an MNC. So I've got into that one, and then after my masters, I joined there. Actually,
okay.
I wanted to continue in Motorola because I liked it so much, and that was my first industry experience, right? So I liked it, and then they also said like again after my internship, I have to again undergo the interview process. So if I clear the interview, they said they can take me, but I didn't clear the interview. So they said no, I cannot take it. So that's fine. And then anyways, I had a backup option. I got into another company. So I said, it's okay. If you are not taking me, I'll go there. And I just went there. So it was like immediately after my engineering, after my master's, I just joined there.
Awesome. So you joined as a software engineer, or was it a QA?
No, they have given me training. Actually, no, I didn't join immediately because that time it was recession time. 2008, it was a recession time. So though I've got an offer and all that, but the joining date was not given to me yet. So the joining date, I think the joining date I've got only after 1 year, not before that. Yeah, I had to just wait for 1 year. So in that 1 year, I thought instead of just waiting, I have joined in some other company. That was a very small company. It was just close to my house. So I just went and I joined there as a test engineer. So it was a testing thing. That time they said there are only testing openings. If you want to just come and join, you can join. I said that's okay because anyways I'm just sitting idle at home, so I thought I'll do something. So I just said okay, and I just joined as a test engineer there. I did it for 5 months, and then I've got the joining date from my actual company. So I resigned here, and then I joined there in that iGate company.
Oh, how was your experience as a test engineer? What did you do? What did you learn?
It was a good experience. Like it was a very small company, but still, like the work and all was good. I was doing the automation. I used to use Ruby for the automation scripts. So it was a good experience. Like though I did it very less time, 5 months, but still it was a good exposure. And the people were very good. They were so nice. And when I left the company, they gave me like a watch. Yeah, it was so emotional. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, see, like you just worked there for 5 months, but still, like they treated you like a family member is great, right? So
yeah, 5 months is a short time. So.
Very short time, yeah, very short time. But still, like they were very nice people. It was like hard for me to again resign and then go there and join. But still, like here it's like I just thought, okay, I've got there and I'll get more salary there, and so I was just thinking like that. and then I just went and I joined there. But there it was in another state. It was not in the same place where I used to live.
Okay.
So I had to go and stay there. Like I think I've stayed there for 6 months, and that was my training period. So I have got training in .NET.
This is
And
iGate, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I've got training in iGate on .NET, and after my training period, again I had to write one exam, and I had to clear that exam. Only then they will allocate me a project. Otherwise, I will be doing the training again and again. So that was the process there. Or maybe I had to just they'll not even give me any job. I have to maybe just go home. So something like that. I don't remember exactly. But after the training, that clearing the exam was very important. That much I know. So luckily, I cleared the exam, and I got into some project in another city, and that was actually a very good project because my engineering was in chemical engineering, right? So it was something related to .NET, but the domain was all in chemical engineering. So I could actually use my engineering knowledge and do maybe something good there. But unfortunately, because it's in a different city, my family member said, no, it is not good. Already you are away for 6 months, so it is not good to be away for more than that. So try something in the same place where my husband also lives. Then I was searching, and then finally I got into Sony, but in Sony it was a testing position again. So they said we only have testing positions. If you are fine with it, then we can take you. They said. So when I cleared the interview, then I got into Sony. So
Congrats.
I started my QA again in Sony. I did it for, I think I worked there for 3.5 years. And then I thought, okay, it's too much. I will change my job now. And I again gave interviews, and then I finally got into Samsung.
Let's talk about Sony. Like, what did you do? What projects were you testing at the time?
In Sony, what I was testing was the PlayStation.
Oh,
I'm not
did you
into
play?
No, I'm not into a PlayStation person actually. Even now I don't play. But still I was testing that.
Can you talk about that? Like, how do you
Yeah.
test a game?
No, actually, I don't test the games. What I have done was, it was not like a end user testing. There where you can just play a game and then say it is whether good or bad. It was not like that. Ours was more into the API testing.
Okay.
Yeah, white box testing. It was not black box. So they have bunch of APIs, like just like how we have APIs here. So we used to just get the APIs, and we had to just test the APIs. But we didn't have any tool that time. So all we had to do is just write code in Visual Studio, and then with all the inputs and all that, with different APIs. So and then we have to make sure nothing is breaking.
I see. And then
Yeah.
can you talk about the testing process from like the beginning to end?
The testing process is like first we along with the developers, we also get involved into the requirements, like to understand the requirements. And after that, like just like how we do design here, for QA, design doesn't matter, so we don't have to get involved there, but we have to understand the requirements. And here the design is like how you develop the code, right? But there we have to also design the test cases for QA.
Okay.
So we have to write, we have to design all the test cases, like all the use cases, and what should be the expectation of the test cases and all that. So it's like designing the test cases. That's what we used to say. And then like once the developers develop the code, by then we should also be ready with all our test cases and expected results and all that. And when we get the builds, like whenever the code is ready for testing, then we have to run those test cases and then see whatever the expected result we get, it is matching.
What happens if they don't match?
If they don't match, then first we should understand like whether our expectation, whatever we have written, is correct or not. Maybe we have written something which is not even expected. So for that, we have to talk to the product owners, like Zach here, right? So we have to talk, and then we have to make sure whatever the expectations are, whatever we have written, the expected is really the valid ones.
Okay.
If they are valid, and if it is not, if we are not able to get whatever the expected results are, then we have to create bugs. Like we have to create some tickets so that like the developers can be assigned, and then they will work on that. And then we have to redo the process again. Like once the issues are fixed, we have to again test it and then make sure we are still getting the expected results. And along with that, we should also do the smoke test, and to make sure nothing else is broken because of this change.
Oh, can you explain what smoke test is for the audience?
Smoke test is like just the high level to make sure a product is working at high level. We don't have to go in depth. Just at the high level, nothing is broken. Like say if it is some login, we have to still be able to log in with some, at least the correct username and password. So it doesn't have to be, we don't have to really test all the negative tests and all that, but at least the positive test cases, like whatever we have, that has to be passed.
And then what types of testing are there? Because you told me there's automated, there's manual testing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, automation is like just how the things can be automated so that like we don't have to intervene every single time, and then that can be just run nightly or something like that, and then we have to just look at the results and make sure everything is green, so we are good, so we don't have to worry about it. But manual is not like that, right? So we have to every time whenever there is any new feature added, or whenever there is any new build, it depends on the service, or if it is like some mobile application, then we will get different bills. But if it is something like web service, then we just get a new feature or some service added. So we have to just test that manually, because it's a new one, right? So we have to keep doing that manually every single time. So it's better we do automate, so that like we don't have to worry, at least the existing features.
Okay. And then sorry, you said you moved from Sony to Samsung. Like, why did you move?
Sony, I worked like for 3.5 years, and then I just thought like if I switch to another company, better salary, what else? Yeah.
And how was your experience in Samsung? You became a lead QA engineer, right?
In Samsung, like when I joined itself, like I joined as a lead, but there it was called as lead engineer. That was my title I was given when I joined Samsung. And then I think I joined in the month of June or July, something like that. And then the next period, like the evaluation period, I mean, that was pretty quick. But still, like maybe I did so good, and that time I got promoted. I didn't expect, actually. I didn't expect really. So I became technical lead, and then there were some reportees for me, and I was able to manage them. It was all in the testing, though. Though the names are like technical lead, it was not like a development. It was in QA technical lead.
Oh, how was your first management experience? Because this was your first leadership experience, correct?
Yeah, that was my first leadership experience. And actually, it was, I didn't even feel that I was like a lead there, because I mean, I also used to work along with them. And then I used to also help them, like when they are is stuck with something, or when they are not able to understand anything, or when they are stuck in understanding the requirements. So something like that. And also help them in designing the test cases, like, because we should be able to thoroughly design the test cases so that like we will not miss anything, right? Otherwise, if we just do like the positive cases and we just skip all the negative, then we will be like into trouble when it goes into production. So we have to be thorough with our testing, so that like when it goes to production, we will be like more confident. um, yeah, and also like if there are any customer issues or anything, it used to come directly to me, like a QA
Oh,
technical lead. It doesn't go to anybody else. It used to come to me, and then I have to. I mean, I'm like I was the answerable thing. Like I should be able to answer like why we skipped it. It was like a big thing there.
oh, wait, how did you deal with that?
I mean, I think I had to deal with it like once or twice in my 2 years of Samsung experience. Um, I mean, one time it was like the requirement itself was messed up,
Mm,
so it was nothing we can do about it.
yeah.
The second time was like we missed it. It was our fault.
Mm,
So
I see.
we had to just apologize everybody. What else we can do?
Right, yeah. And then, and I figured like you couldn't or you shouldn't blame your teammates, correct?
No, we can. I mean, even if the problem is with them, because you're
Yeah.
technical lead, like when they say, okay, it's your responsibility also to make sure that it is really okay, right? So,
Mm,
um, so like we cannot blame them.
yeah. So I guess what's the correct way to handle something like that?
I mean, if everybody takes that responsibility, right? So if they understand like what their responsibility is, and if there is any positive thing, or if there is some happy thing, we take it. I mean, everybody can take it, so there is no problem with that. But the problem comes like only if there is a problem, right? So like if there is any bug or anything, then that is when like it's hard to take it, but we should be ready to take it, so that like we can learn from it,
Mm,
and then we shouldn't keep repeating it. I mean, if we are repeating our mistakes, that is the problem. If
mm,
we learn from it, and then if we are overcoming, then I think it should be okay. I mean, everybody learns, right? It's not like we are born with everything. So we will be learning from our. I mean, some people can learn just like from others mistakes, but some people learn from their own mistakes. So as far as you're learning and moving on, then you should be fine. There is no problem with that.
okay. Did you have any mentors as a leader? Like who did you look up to at the time?
I was always looking up like whomever I report to.
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, it was always like that. Like from Motorola, it was like that. As I said, like in Motorola, I used to look up to my mentor who was mentoring me. And then in in Sony, in iGate, actually, it was just an internship. So it was not internship, sorry. It was just a training. So it was like
Mm,
a school kind of. So somebody will come and teach, and then we have to take down all the notes, and then we have to sit and study in our room. That's it. So it was more like a school kind of. So there was nothing really, no implementation.
mm.
So the implementation started in Sony, and there also I was looking up to my manager, like whomever I was reporting to.
So you've had good mentors all
Yeah,
along.
yeah. It was good. Like I never had any trouble or problems with my mentors so far. Touch wood. Uh,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it was a good experience with everybody.
Cool. And then in Samsung, what were you working on? What were you testing at the time?
In Samsung, I was actually testing the my SD cards and hard disk. So there are like two different things, right? Like hard disk and SSDs. So we were that time the SSDs started, and then I think For Samsung, it was new. So we were like testing the SSDs and the performance of the SSDs, the reads and writes, the operations. So all those kind of things. So that was two different projects which I worked on. So that was one project, and two different parallel projects. It was not like one after the other. So the other project was this one, the SD card. So same thing with SD card also, like the storage capacity and the reads and writes and how fast the reads and writes are happening. So there were like lot of protocols. I don't remember now, something like SATA protocol, NVMe protocol.
Oh, wow.
We had to read so much. Like first initial days, I was just reading and understanding the protocol. That itself took some time for me, and then I started actually the work.
And then, I have a question about like feedback, because you said you learn how to handle feedback, but then as a leader, you also have to give feedback to your team members. Like, how did you approach that?
I always, usually it's my personality. I don't usually tell anything bad. That's my personality, I would say. I cannot tell anything bad on their faces. I don't know if it is a great thing or a bad thing on me, but that's how I am. Like I will not be able to tell. I feel so uncomfortable telling like that. I always give good feedback. Luckily they were all really good. It was not bad. So sometimes, like, even if I felt something bad, like it just happened, like, and it was a very small thing. I don't even have to really tell about it. But still, that also I never mentioned. I was like, fine.
Because it wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal. And even if it is a big deal, I don't think I'll be able to say it.
Okay. Yeah, because I notice you're you're quick to notice when I'm doing well. Like, you always notice when I'm doing well. Like, hey, Raisa, you're doing a good job. Keep doing it. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, Samsung, and then you moved to America, 2014. Yeah. Like, why did you move?
At that time, for better opportunities and some craziness about coming to America.
Oh, so were you planning to move to the US all along?
No.
Oh, tell me about it.
No, actually, we never had any plans, and even my husband also. I never, because he was always. He had a lot of friends and family, and everybody were there. Even now, they are there only. So we hardly have anyone here. So he was fine there, and even I was like fine there. I didn't even think of, or didn't even expect that I will be coming here. One day, like in the night, I think all of a sudden my husband sat next to me, and then he was like, "Shall we go to America?" And then I said, "Okay, it's for a vacation, maybe." And then he was like, "No, to live there." I was like, "What? From where did we get this offer?" Then he said, he said, like, my friend is asking, like, his friend was living here. Even now he's living here. So he's living in, I think, Ohio. No, not Ohio. Chicago. Yeah, somewhere near Chicago. He lives there. I'm not able to recollect the state name now. So he was living there, and then he asked, like, if we are interested, so that, like, he can help in somehow. Then so he was asking me. I said, okay, let's try. If it works out, it works out. Because for us it was like a lucky draw. So we have to put whoever is interested, like, our applications there, and then they do lucky draw, and only if we get selected, like, if we get picked up, we can start the process. Okay. So it was like that. So then I said, okay, let's try what's there in trying. So if it get picked up, we can go. Otherwise, we can just continue here, I said. Then so then we started the process, and then we were like so lucky, I think. For both of us, we got our applications got picked on the same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if we tell this to anybody, they will not even believe, but it really happened for us. I don't know, like, it's God's grace, I think. So it just happened. Like for both of us, it got picked on the same day, and then everybody were shocked because it's like very rarely it happens. I mean, for one picking up itself is a big thing, but for us, both of us got picked up. So we were very lucky, I would say. And then so after that, like we started the process, and then we attended the visa interview, and there also we could be able to be successful, and then we just moved here.
Oh, wow. Did you have kids at the time? Or?
Yeah, I had my son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but when we came here, I didn't bring my son because because we both came here together, right? So first we have to settle down. Otherwise, if we just come all three of us, then it's gonna be so hard. Like how we are going to. I mean, we didn't even know that if we are going to continue here or whether we will be able to live there. Nothing we knew that time, because usually what happens is like one person comes here and then they
get their family.
Yeah, that's how usually it is. But for us, it was like we both came together at the same time, and then we were like wondering what to do now. So yeah, that's why like we didn't get our son here. So my son used to live with my parents and his parents. So they were taking care of him. I think for 6 months they were taking care of him, and then like we actually, after we came here and I think in just 20 days, I got job. So
oh wow,
yeah,
that's fast.
Very fast. Yeah, in just 20 days only, I just got the job. So even with same with my husband, we both joined also on the same day.
Oh, joined the job?
Yeah, joined the job on the same day. Yeah.
Wow.
He joined in a different company. I joined here in Trumbull Maps.
Oh, in ALK. It was ALK.
It was ALK at that time. Yeah. So I joined there. So 31st March 2014. Yeah.
Nice.
That was a joining date. That was a festival for us that time.
Oh, did you celebrate?
No, Indian festival. I mean, we didn't. I think we didn't even rent a house that time. We were just living with some other people.
Okay.
So what we will celebrate? Nothing. So slowly our life started here. So it was like one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first month was a bit hard for us, but slowly it was fine. Like after we got settled, like slowly we rented a house, and we didn't have a driving license or a car or anything like that. And March was a bit cold. I mean, when we come to India, when we come from India, India is a hot climate. So here it was so cold. So we couldn't even take that cold. It was very, we didn't even have proper jackets that time. So slowly everything, we just built it up.
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Awesome. So ALK, like what were you doing there? What was your role?
I was a QA engineer that time, and I was actually a consultant because I came through a consultancy.
Okay.
So I was a consultant. I was a consultant for almost 3 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years. I was a consultant for 3 years, and then that time my manager was Nirmala, and she said like they are not taking the consultants anymore. I was the last consultant. So they don't want to do any, they don't want to take any consultants, and they want everybody to be like a permanent employee. So she said like I have to either become a permanent employee or I have to quit the job. So that's what she was saying. I mean, she didn't want me to quit the job, but she was asking me to become permanent.
Okay. How did that process happen?
That process just happened. Like it was not... I didn't even get involved so much. So she only just took care of it. And then finally one day she said like, after I became permanent, she said like, I am given the role of a senior QA engineer. And then I said, okay. And because my green card process and all that also had to be started, right? So so much of discussions happened on that with my HR. So slowly it
Yeah, it's
started.
not fun, but yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So senior QA, like did your responsibilities change or was it just the role that changed the name?
No, the responsibility also changed. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I was taking more responsibilities that time, and yeah, it was not like very similar to like how the QA engineer would do. It was a different one, um, and everybody used to encourage me if I want to do something. They used to all encourage, and even if I want to say like change a project, so they were like fine with it. So that is when I actually changed to. No, I think I was that time I was still in the PC mailer, but I was doing more of automation, like the desktop application, the PC mailer desktop application. I was doing automating. I was automating that one. So I was
Oh,
not really involved in the testing cycle. Only at the end, like the throughout the year, I was just doing the automation, and at the end, like whenever PC mailer goes out, like every year once, just in summer it goes out. So that time I also used to help out with the testing, but not so much, like not the entire year.
can you explain what PC Miler is for the audience?
Yeah, PC Mailer is like a trip planning application, desktop application. So where we can plan the trips, and then we have all the options. Like we can choose what our vehicle is and whatever the route options are, like the routing profile, all that we can choose, and then we can plan our trips with all that options. And then what the actually end users do is like once the trip is planned, they used to take print out of that plan the trip, the visual trip, like the path and all that, along with all the steps of directions, like take right, take left, take right, and all that, right? So with all that instructions, they use directions, not the instructions, with all the directions. So they used to take the printout, and then the drivers used to have that copy, and then they used to drive. So that's how it was. Like it was like many years, like it, because PC Mailer started like long time back. I
Long
don't
time,
even,
yeah.
yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, it was like almost 30 years back, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a very old application. So now with all these new technologies, they also wanted to move to web services, and then the PC Mailer web services started.
Mm.
Um, So earlier it was just the desktop application. And when we used to, actually another thing which I was more involved in was the Connect, PC Mailer Connect. So PC Mailer Connect was like the APIs, like where we have to just test the APIs, just like how I was doing in Sony.
In Sony, yeah.
Yeah.
So was this also automation testing that you were
Uh,
doing?
no, PC Mailer Connect was not automated when I started, but later it got automated. But when I started, I was just doing like taking one by one API, and then writing code in the Visual Studio for that. That
Hmm.
all that was in C++.
Oh, okay.
Even in
Wow.
Sony, the work was all in C++.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So you did QA at ALK for how many years?
Um, QA for I think more than 5 years.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
then ALK became Trimble Maps.
Yeah, because for 4 years I was in PC Mailer,
Huh?
and then I didn't ask, I think, or maybe I asked, I don't know. Nirmala was the one who said like I can pick up web services, because that time web services started, and there were like many resources were needed. So she said like I can start with that. So I slowly started with the trip management. and
Mm.
before me, it was David Papish. He was the one who started with trip management, and then he gave that knowledge transfer to me. And
Oh,
then
wait, was he a QA or a
he is a
developer?
QA. He is a QA even
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, even now he is a QA.
I
But
see.
I mean, though he's a QA, he does like a lot of other stuff. He is not like a normal just a testing person because his knowledge is like vast.
I see. So that's where you transitioned into trip management and web services.
Yeah.
And then was this also the
No,
time
no,
you
I
were
was not into PC Mailer web service. Oh,
oh,
sorry,
trip
sorry.
management.
Yeah,
Trip
yeah,
man-
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then was this the time you were thinking about moving to software engineering? Like,
Like, I mean, from the beginning, that was always running in my mind. So
ah,
I wanted to, but then like I I didn't know like whom to ask and all that because for me this country itself is new, right? So first I had to adjust with the company, adjust with the people, adjust with all the other things like at home, and so there were like a lot of things happening.
mhm.
And then I think I got pregnant also, like with my daughter.
Okay.
So so that was also there. So there were like multiple things in the beginning, and then finally, like after I moved to trip management, then George was there. So George took up, and then Nirmala left the company. Then when George took the responsibility, I asked him uh, because that time I thought, okay, because he deals with both developers and testers, so I thought maybe I can ask him. So that is when I asked, like, and then he said, I mean, he didn't agree first of all. He said, why you can do well in QA, all that. Like he tried to convince me, but then like I mean, I was not like super aggressive that I was asking again and again and then making sure it happens. I was not like that. So I just asked once or twice, and then when he said that, I also left it, and then again, but still it was running in my mind though, because I wanted to become like, because when you are stuck with something you will not be that happy, right, like with what you're doing. So that's how I was. I mean, I was not, I cannot say I was not happy. I was happy because that time Srilata, George were all there, and they were like so nice to me, and it was very good. But still, like for at the somewhere in my heart I was thinking, oh, I should have become a developer.
So
So
your heart wasn't in it anymore.
yeah. Then
Okay.
I was asking, and then slowly Nirjar joined, and then I was still asking George, and then he said, "Okay, I'm going to put you under Nirjar, and you can deal with him directly." Then I said, "Okay," and then I asked Nirjar, and then it actually happened quickly
So
after
Nirjar
that.
was the lead of trip management at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah. He was an
Okay.
engineering manager that time. He was an
Okay.
engineer. Yeah, he's joined as an engineering manager, and he was, but he was just dealing with trip management and Mylon. These two.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, before we go to your transition, can you talk about trip management and Mylon briefly?
Yeah, that time I was testing both the trip management and Mylon. So trip management was like more of this this testing, right? Like the Postman, JMeter, and all these kind of testing. So I was doing that, but Mylon was purely manual. So there is no automation there. Slowly, no, I actually started automation. Yeah, I started automation. I think I have used Android Studio for automating. Um, I did. I think I did like 10%, maybe not 5%, 10% maybe automation there, and then. But after that, like I mean, I think Nirjar or somebody said like I don't have to worry about Mylon. I have to just focus on trip management because I cannot do both. That was like bit too much for me. So
Hmm.
then some other person, uh, I think his name, I don't remember his name. Some intern was joined there. So
Okay.
that intern was helping with Mylon testing, and I was just, but I was mentoring him, but he was doing the testing, and then he was just an intern. So after that, I think Peter, I think I don't know if he's still there in our company. So he took over Mylon, and same like I was mentoring him, and he was doing the testing, and I was just doing the trip management. And
Mm.
after him, it was Subhadra.
Okay. Who we work with.
Yeah, yeah. Subhadra
Okay.
joined, and I think she also joined as an intern first. And then she was helping with Mylon testing, and slowly she became a permanent QA tester.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool. And then at the time you were transitioning, trying to become a software engineer. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, I was asking Nirjar, and then he said, okay, he can evaluate me. So for a few months and see how I am doing. And if I am doing good, then maybe slowly he can give me more work of development and less work of QA. So like that, it slowly happened. And actually, my first development work I did was in hackathon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hackathon 2019. Yeah, Hackathon 2019 was the first development work which I committed my work into production.
Nice. Congrats. Your first development work.
Yeah, actually, like that time, George was like also congratulating me for my first development project. I mean, he came to me personally and then he said, "Oh, congratulations, your first." I think Nirjar told him that Aparna's first development project is in production, and then he became so happy. And then he personally came to me and then he told. I mean, personally, in the sense, like in the office, like he came to my desk and then he told me. So I was,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, very happy to see. And
Yeah.
yeah, and even Chris also, like Chris was there that time, right? So he was actually he also helped me, and then he was also like so proud, like, oh, Aparna, your first development project is in production now.
Ah. Chris
Yeah,
was our teammate,
yeah,
just
yeah.
for the audience who doesn't know. And then, yeah, tell me more about your transition. So after the hackathon, like what happened?
Yeah, after the hackathon, after the hackathon, I didn't get much of development work. I was continuing with the testing, and then the 2020 January, Nirjar started assigning me like very very small development tasks. Like I think maybe 5% of development, but remaining is on QA because I was still QA and there was nobody else as a QA tester then. And then I think till April, it was like that.
So like you did like 5% test, no,
I mean,
5% development and
yeah,
like,
not 5% till April. Slowly it increased, but
okay,
I was doing more of testing and less development work.
I see.
And then Nirjar got convinced that I will be able to handle development work, and then he started giving me more, and that is when we took Subhadra to trip management. That time she was only into Mylon. So
Mhm.
then we took Subhadra also into trip management, and then we started. And then I started getting more of a development then.
Did your title change to
Um,
software engineer at the time?
yeah, I think it got changed in 2020. You know, right? Like it was a
Pandemic.
pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that time there was like a frozen thing that nobody titles or anything, no promotions, nothing. So it took some time. I think my title only got changed, though it was decided like I think in June or something like that. Nirjar said like he will change my title, but it only happened in September. I think. Yeah,
Mm,
it only happened in
okay.
September.
How did you find development work? Like, did you struggle in the beginning? How did you like adapt to your role?
Yeah, starting I was struggling, but then like Nirjar was so helpful, so he was helping me with the task, and along with him, I mean, I mean when he gets busy, like I used to, but I mean I didn't take like so much of help from other people because I used to spend a lot of time, like as I said, like I make mistake and then learn from my mistake, so that's how I am. So I have done some mistakes and then I used to learn from them and then I used to correct them. So that's how I have learned, but still like I cannot say I have done 100% of everything on my own. I still took some help from Nirjar, from Chris. Chris Tanger, and there used to be another Chris
Oh,
O.
Chris. Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't pronounce his last name, but Chris O. That's how we call him, right? So he also used to help me a lot. So these three people helped me.
Nice. Thank you to Chris's and Nirjar. And then let's see. So September, you became an official developer. Like, what kind of stuff were you working on, like initially?
I was just focusing on trip management.
Trip management.
Yeah. I was more involved in trip management. I don't think or maybe here and there I did some concourse work.
But mostly trip management.
Yeah, mostly trip management.
And then, okay, what did you struggle with specifically? Like switching from QA to software engineering, like the mindset and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, mindset was like I was already prepared, right? So mindset was not a big thing for me, and I prepared myself that once I get development work, obviously I knew that I should work more harder than how I used to work. So I was already prepared for that, so that was not a big thing. And another thing was because of pandemic, so we used to just stay home. So I used to put a lot of hours, like after hours, like after work hours. Also, I used to work, and because until unless I work, I will not be able to understand what I'm working on. So I had to put that extra hours. So I was able to learn better. And another thing was I was also studying the AWS part that.
Oh, so you were planning to take the certification, which you did, right?
Yeah, I did it. So in 2020, I was preparing because that time, like in 2020, before I started studying, I didn't know anything about AWS. Like I didn't even know. Well, I mean, I just knew what AWS is, the expansion. That's it. After that, like I didn't know anything. Like that, I don't know what is ECS, what is ECR, what is DynamoDB. Nothing I knew. So I had to read everything because I never even worked on it, right? So I had no clue what is all that. So I had to, I took some course, like Udemy course. I took that, but I mean, though I took it, I didn't, that was not like so helpful for me. I used to read and then I used to forget also. So, I mean, unless you practice really, I don't think you will be able to really
Understand
relate.
it.
Relate also like to what you're working on. So, it was. So I was learning, and then I took the exam. Though I took the exam, after I took the exam, I was not like 100% confident that I will be able to handle entire project on my own. It was not like that. I took the exam, so at least I got familiar with the terminology. What is DynamoDB? I knew. What is ECR? I knew. What is ECS?
S3.
What is S3? I knew. So the terminology was like quite familiar. It became familiar for me, and then I would say like maybe at least 20% of knowledge I have gained after the exam, and after that, like as you work on, I gained more knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I started that what is that project? Replay tool. So in 2021 hackathon, we did that replay tool. So and after the hackathon, we took that project. So I was working on the project with Natalia, and I was doing Terraform work for deploying that project and
infrastructure, basically, right?
What is
Terraform? Terraform infrastructure for people who don't know. Basically.
Oh, yeah. Terraform is like the infrastructure
as code.
Yeah. So where we can develop the infrastructure so that like we can do the deployment into AWS. It's like an automation kind of. So automating the deployment process. I mean, not the deployment process, automating the creating of infrastructure.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So you were working on a lot of Terraform at the time.
Yeah, I have worked on a lot of Terraform. I have learned a lot. So that is when I think I got so much of knowledge on Terraform.
And
I,
AWS as well,
and
right?
AWS as well. Yeah, and AWS as well. Because I remember like when I was doing one configuration service, I still remember that that situation. Like I didn't know that I had to create Route 53 and DNS. I did all the work, and then I think no, yeah, maybe, yeah. DNS was there because Zach used to take care of it, right? Even now he takes care. Yeah, so he created the DNS. I mean, he asked IT to create DNS, and then he took care of it. So DNS was there, and then like I deployed the service because till pre-prod, I think Nirjar configured Route 53 and all that. In production, we didn't configure Route 53 because I didn't ask him to, because I didn't even know that I should do something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Then it went to production and it didn't work. And then I was like thinking, why it is not working? It worked till pre-prod. How come it cannot work in prod? I didn't know that we had to configure Route 53 that time.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue. I said, I don't know what is happening. Then then Nirjar checked everything and then he said, oh, we didn't configure Route 53. I said, oh, okay. I mean, it was like, oh God, I missed it. It was not like that. I said, oh,
You didn't know,
I
right?
didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even know. Oh, there is something like that. So, I mean, it was like, I didn't even know what I was doing then. Yeah. So it was, and that time there was not really process like documentation also, right? So I didn't even know that we had to do something like that. So I was just thinking, why it is not working? I don't know why it is not working.
So you learn a lot by doing. Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm getting from you.
Yeah.
And then I guess right now you're known as the master of Terraform. So is it mostly like learning by doing, would you say?
Yeah, learning by doing. And as I said, like initially, I mean, if you just do it also, like without even knowing what it is, that won't be that helpful.
Yeah.
For me, taking that exam helped me with understanding how it should be, and then as you work you gain more knowledge on of that. So together help me a lot. I cannot just say, okay, don't do anything and just directly work and you will learn everything. It would have been more harder.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have learned, but it would have taken some more time for me. But because I have taken that exam, so I was like bit familiar with the structure, like though it was not like 100%, but still some knowledge I gained out of it. And then when I was working, I gained more. So as a combination, it was helpful.
Yeah. And then I think you told me off camera like a few weeks ago that you learn best by making mistakes and by struggling. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah. I always learn, like I mean, I strongly feel like when you make mistake, you will learn better, and you will remember it forever. You will never forget, because when you are making mistakes and when you are struggling, you struggle a lot, right? So you will spend more time on that. So you will once you get successful on that, you will never forget it because you already spent so much of time on it. So there is no way you will forget it. So it will be registered in your mind forever. So that's how it was for me also. So when I was doing mistakes, when I was struggling, I struggled a lot. I had to spend a lot of time in understanding what I was making the mistake. So out of those mistakes, I have learned what I shouldn't make going forward. And I remember it always. Like I don't think I will ever forget it.
So don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Don't be afraid to make mistake. Yeah, don't be ever afraid to make mistake. It's okay to make mistake, but the only thing is don't repeat the mistakes. So there is no point in repeating the mistakes, like when you are not even learning anything.
I see. And then like for, I guess, the next 2 years, how did your role evolve?
So I started as software engineer one, like in 2020 September. So that is when my
That's
title
when I
got changed.
joined too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is when my title got changed also, and after that, like I started getting more work, and I have actually learned the SQL work. I got another big project, not like a project. I got a big task, like an 8 pointer task for me for stop ID changes in group management. So I mean, it is actually. I mean, I can say like it is just adding one more field for the stop, but just for that there were so many database changes. There was so much of code which had to be changed. um, there was a lot of work. I mean, that's why when I initially given it's an 8 pointer, I was thinking, oh, it is just a stop ID. I have to add why it's an 8 pointer, and then I didn't understand. Like though I think Chris T and Chris O Nirjar, they all said it's an 8 pointer. I couldn't really think of why it was an 8 pointer. Then when I started working, I understood, oh, it's really an 8 pointer, because so much of work was involved in that, and that was also like that gave me a good exposure on the database,
Mm.
on the SQL, because till that time I knew a little bit but not like so much, but working on that task gave me a good exposure of database SQL.
Mm.
I have learned a lot from that.
I see. So you accumulated SQL knowledge, Terraform, and then of course C Sharp, which we work on.
Yeah,
And then you became an engineer too, like early
yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Then after that, how did your role change?
uh After that, like I mean, I just continue with what I'm doing. Like I mean, uh it was, I mean, I really didn't feel like, okay, my role has got changed, so now I have to work. I mean, of course I have to work harder, like as your role gets changed, but it was fine. Like I am never feeling that pressure or any such kind of thing that, oh, my role got changed, so now I am struggling. It was never like that.
Mm.
It's like just going with the flow,
Very gradual.
gradual. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I mean, I think only like when you get like sudden change, then you will have that pressure. Oh my God, there is so much of change. But now it's like gradual, right? So I don't really feel anything like pressure. And of course, like it depends on the people whom you work with also. Like if your teammates are really good, I think you will be totally fine.
Mm. Nice. And then recently you became a team lead. Like, how did that happen? And like, how were you feeling at the time?
Um, I mean, same thing. Like, I'm not really feeling that, oh, I have become a
Different.
tea. Yeah, there is no difference for me. Like, I'm still the same. Like, I don't really feel any change. Just that, like, okay, there are like some reportees for me now.
Me?
uh, yeah. Yeah. Other than that, like, I really don't really feel anything. And I mean, though you report, like, I mean, I'm not like 100% get dedicating to you, right? Like sitting and telling you what you're supposed, because you know what you're supposed to do, everything. So I don't even have to tell you anything. So same with Mike also. So he's fine. Like he knows what he's doing. Like here and there, he will have some questions. Like because when he works on something new, then he will have some questions. Like whether project he started. So he had some questions, and then I was just helping him. But otherwise, like he is fine with what, and he knows what he's doing. So I mean, dealing with some people like you, I will not have any problem. I mean, I can
Oh,
handle even more people if they are like you. So,
oh, thank you. Awesome. I want to talk about like balancing family and work because you have two kids. You're also working full time. Like, how do you balance the two?
this involves a lot of planning. We have to be fully planned with what you are supposed to do, and it has to be fully organized. We cannot mess up with anything. If you
Can you
mess up,
elaborate more?
yeah. So, for example, like I usually wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my son also, like usually my husband wakes him up at 6 o'clock, so he will wake up, and then we will have the time. Okay, by 6:30, his milk has to be ready, so I'll put his milk. By 6:35, his breakfast has to be ready, so I'll keep that ready, and he has to finish by so and so time because his bus is at 7:10. So in order to catch that 7:10 bus, everything has to be pre-organized. We cannot start thinking at 6:45 what breakfast I can do now. That will never happen.
Too late.
Yeah, that's too late. So, and what lunch I have to pack. So everything has to be organized. So we cannot go to that moment and then start thinking, oh, what can I do now? No, that will never happen. So it has to be like pre-organized and well planned. So that like, okay, at 6:45 I have to do this, means I have to do that. Like there is no other choice for me. So I will have to do that. So there is no excuse, because when kids are hungry, we cannot say, okay, for today you don't eat anything and stop, because I have other work to do. I cannot say that, right? So I have to go and feed. I mean, same with you also. When you are hungry, you can't do anything else. You have to go and eat something. So
Yeah.
and if you have to eat something, the food has to be ready. Who is going to be making that food, right? So you only have to do it. So it all comes with that. Like, I mean, in the weekends, like I do a lot of prep work, like cutting vegetables and all that. And of course, my husband also helps me with the cooking, because he is a better cook than me. So when there is any special, then everybody goes to him. I mean, everybody looks to him like, oh, what are you going to make today? If I cook, it's like a regular cooking, like a normal everyday food, like home food style. But his food is like some restaurant style. So if we want something special, we go to him. Otherwise, if it is regular food, everyone just comes to me.
So proper time management and planning.
Yeah.
And then also, can you talk about like how you split the household duties with your husband? Because this is fascinating.
Yeah, he helps with the cooking and the dishes. So all that, like he takes care. And laundry, we both like split. Actually, it is not like okay, he will do this work, I will do this. It's not really like that. I mean, I cannot split like that, because sometimes I also do cooking. Sometimes he does cook. Sometimes I also do laundry. Sometimes he does laundry. But most of the time with the kids, like with their studies, I only help them. Like he doesn't get much involved in that. Because I enjoy that, so he leaves that to me. So I deal with all that.
Academics, homework, all that.
Yeah. And like going outside, getting groceries and all that, he does that one. Sometimes I also do. It's not like all the time he will do it, but most of the time he will do, and very less times I go and do it. Like only when there is an emergency that he will not be able to do it, then I just go and do it. So yeah, it's like just understanding between each other. That's it. Like we don't really there is no assigned task for him. There is no assigned task for me. we just take up the task, whatever is available in that big bucket of tasks.
So do whatever you can do and whatever you're good at, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I want to talk about like raising kids. Like, how do you approach like raising kids? Because I know you're very involved.
Yeah, I am actually very much involved in raising the kids, and I don't take anything lightly. I think from my childhood I have been like that. Like as I said, like when I get into any competitions or anything, when I was in the school, I used to take it very seriously. So even with my kids also, when they are taking part in anything, I take it very seriously. I never take anything light. Sometimes my husband says that is not a good quality. Sometimes you should start taking things lightly because for everything I just get pressurized. I just take everything like personally. I mean, if anything happens, I just take it to my heart, I think. So maybe it's not that, which is not that great quality in me, but it's just happens. Like I don't control it. It just happens to me. I just take it like very much. I get very much involved in it, like in everything, whatever kids do, my family do, all that. So. So nothing is light. Everything is very serious. So when they are doing something, they have to do it very seriously.
Can you talk more about that, like helping with homework? Because I know like you're very involved academically and things like that.
Yeah. So they have, like, my son is in 6th grade now, right? So he gets like a lot of homework and all that. So though he does his homework, I still go and check in his Google Classroom every single day to make sure he is not missing out anything. I mean, my husband laughs sometimes, like, why do you do that? Like, I mean, I never skip it. Even if I am not able to, I tell him, I'm not able to do it today. Like the other day, I think last Thursday, I was feeling so sleepy. I couldn't stay after some time. Like I was very sleepy. I was very tired kind of. So I told my husband, today I'm not able to check his Google Classroom, so you have to check it. I said. Then he was like, why do you have to check it? It's okay one day if you don't check. I said, no, we cannot do that. You have to check it. I mean, I was like, don't take everything so pressurized kind of. It's okay sometimes, he said. I said, no, you have to check it. Please check it. Otherwise, I'll not be able to sleep peacefully. And then he ended up checking it. So, yeah, I take everything very seriously. That's it.
Oh, and then you also told me you make additional homework problems for your kids, right? Because they don't get homework from school.
No, they get homework. Like my son gets homework, but still on top of it, I also give some homework to him so that like he gets into that thing. Like he'll okay, after this one I have to do this. Like it's like a routine for him. So I make sure like he follows that routine every day. I mean, not just that, right? Like I have like so many routines for him, which he is supposed to follow like every day.
Can you talk about that, like the routines?
So morning, like after he gets ready and all that, like I tell him like at least 5 minutes he has to stand in front of the God and do some prayers. So I tell him like it's good to start your day like that. Otherwise, I mean, it's okay if you don't do it, but it is good to start like that because I do it. I start my day like that. So I say that's a good practice and it will give some peace of mind, like 5 minutes standing in front of God, say chanting some shloka. So it will have some positive energy in you. So that's what I say him. So I mean, though he understands or he don't understand, at least I want to get him into that routine so that like it will be like a daily habit for him. And eventually he can understand what is the positive energy he is gaining out of it. He may not understand today, but later, like when he grows up, he will be able to understand. So I tell the same thing to my daughter as well. She is only for like 5-year-old, but still I tell her, okay, after you're done with your bath, you have to go. And they take bath like every day in the morning for sure. There is no excuse there. Even if it is snowing or whatever the temperature is outside, doesn't matter. They will take bath every day in the morning. I mean, all 4 of us, we take bath.
Yeah.
So there is no escape. There is no excuse. Nothing like that. So these are certain things like, and then he tells me, in my school, I am the only one who takes bath in the morning. I say, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Take bath in the morning. It's a good thing which you are doing. So be proud of yourself, I say. So, yeah. These kind of things, like I just want them to get into that habit so that like they will do it like even if they go to college or even if they go somewhere outside and if I'm not there, I don't want, okay, Amma is not there, so I can do whatever I want. I don't want them to feel like that. So whether I'm there, whether I'm not there, they should still continue with what they're doing. So that is what I look up to with my kids.
So developing good habits, being disciplined, working hard.
Yeah.
What do you hope for your kids?
I just hope good. What else? I mean, they are not that bad, so they don't really argue and all that. So they just listen to me. So, I mean, sometimes they argue, and then I also argue, and at the end of the day, they listen to me. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then as we wrap up, I want to talk about like sort of reflection across your entire career. So what has made you happy all this time? So you did QA, you moved to different companies, and then now you're a software developer. Like what makes you happy?
Uh, the happiness, I mean, I enjoy software development more than anything. I enjoy developing code. That is where my passion is, I feel. I really enjoy that, like that, designing something and then working on it, developing, and then when it goes to production, like when my code goes to production, I feel like so proud. Oh, yeah, my code is in production. So I feel very happy about it. So that is where my real passion is. I really enjoy doing that. So, I mean, doesn't matter what the domain is. Um, but yeah, this is and another thing, like, I mean, I couldn't pursue in my career, when I was in my engineering and all that, like I was my dad was working for ISRO, so I was very much fascinated about that rockets and all that. So even now I like that space technology.
Awesome.
I watch a lot of videos and all that about it, and slowly my kids also developed that interest. So they, my son watches something like Cars Kazan. That's what he says. I mean, it has everything, but he watches more of this space related videos and all that in that. So whenever the Karsgazan uploads, I don't know if I'm spelling it right or not about that channel, but yeah. So whenever they upload some new video, he says, "Amma, Karsgazan uploaded a new video. I want to watch it. I want to watch it," and then he makes sure he watches it. So he developed that interest. So I'm very happy about it because, anyways, like not into that domain, though I wanted to. Uh, at least if my kids are in that, like I'll be very happy.
Awesome. And then would you say that passion is necessary for a career?
Yeah, passion is necessary. I mean, passion is, that is where your happiness is, right? Like, so when you have some passion and if you are able to achieve it, you will have that happiness and you'll be very happy. That's what I think.
And then what does success mean to you? And do you think that you've been successful in your career?
Yeah, success, for me, success is like, do whatever makes you happy. And if you are doing it and if you are making, if that is making you happy, and if you are happy, if you are feeling that, okay, this is what I want to achieve, yeah, you're successful. That's it.
Oh, very simple. And then they say work hard, get lucky. What percentage of your success do you attribute to hard work versus luck in your career?
90% of hard work and 10% of luck. So if there
where
is
did the
no
luck come from?
If there is no hard work, I mean, luck comes from the hard work only. Like if you are really hardworking and if you are really dedicated and taking that responsibility, obviously luck also comes to you.
So hard work creates luck.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I see some people, like there is some hard work, like it doesn't work out really well. There are like some exceptions like that, but mostly I would say, like when you are really hardworking and when you are really dedicated, luck comes automatically.
That's awesome. And then you've switched companies several times, and then you've also switched to a different career. When, I guess for you, what do you think about when you switch to different companies? Like when's a good time to switch?
When the market is good.
Yeah. And then also, I guess you said you wanted something new. So like new experiences, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when's a good time to switch to a different career? Like, what do you think about? What's your thought process?
Different career, I would say, like, you should switch your career. Like, if only if you are really not happy with your current career, like when you
Mm-hmm.
are feeling like, okay, you are missing out something, or when you think like, okay, whatever the capabilities you have, you are not using them efficiently, because you can do so much, but you are only doing little bit. So that doesn't give you that happiness, right? So then you should, okay, maybe I should switch my career so that I can efficiently use all my capabilities and all my strengths. So that is when you should really think of changing the career. Otherwise you shouldn't.
So capabilities, strengths, and happiness.
Yeah.
All of these three. Awesome. And then what advice do you have for young girls who want to be software engineers?
um, uh, Software engineering is something really cool, and like, you will, I mean, as I said, like when you see your code running in some production and when some users are using it, you can proudly say, yeah, I only developed that. So I mean, that gives you some satisfaction, right? So for young girls, if they're really looking up to that, like, I will definitely say, yeah, you should go ahead with it.
Awesome. And then what advice do you have for young people who are lost trying to navigate their college major or their career, or maybe they hate their job? Like, what advice do you have?
um, yeah, like if they are not happy at that, I mean, every day they should, I mean, maybe some days there will be some exceptional cases, like where you are struggling with something, and when you are not able to, then you will just postpone to the other day. So that is fine, like, but still, at least, like, you, if you are able to get that happiness at the end of the day, then um, you are fine. But otherwise, you should really think of searching, like, where you can get that happiness, and so that, like, you will be more successful there, instead of just sitting and thinking, oh, I'm not able to do it. Yeah, if you are not able to do, then just choose where you can do better. Just don't stick to it and then be upset with it.
So it's better to switch rather than regret it,
Yeah.
and then find what makes you happy.
Yeah, yeah. So that, like,
Awesome.
you can be more successful. And
Mm,
we all want to be successful, right? Nobody wants, oh, I had a very bad career. No, we don't want like that. Like when we become old, we want to say, yeah, I had a very good career, and we should be able to proudly say whatever you have achieved. So that you can do it only when you are really successful in what you're doing. So, and when you want to be successful, you should be happy, and you should be able to use your strengths, capabilities, and all that. So it's all like interrelated.
yeah. And then have you ever had an instance where like one of your team members wanted to switch to a different role or a different company, and how did you support them?
um
Or if
uh,
someone were to tell you, "Oh, I want to switch," or what would you say to
yeah,
them?
I strongly encourage if anybody wants to switch, because when they get that idea, when they get that thought of switching, that itself shows, okay, maybe they're missing out something here, and they're looking up for something there. So that is when it happens, right? Otherwise they will not even, okay, now I am here, I will never even think of moving to some product side or anything, because I'm fine with what I'm doing. So I don't even get that idea of switching. So if somebody is asking, that means like they have something which they are not happy with their current thing. So that is the reason why they are looking up there. So when they are looking up, I strongly encourage you better go there, so that, like, you will be more happy and successful there. So
So
I always encourage.
mm,
I never, I mean, some people take some bad decisions because of some various reasons. But if they, I mean, then we shouldn't really encourage. But if you are really clear with what you want to do and what you want to achieve, I mean, we can talk to them and see if they are really clear, because we cannot just jump into, I mean, some people jump into conclusion because of some bad incident, right? Okay, some bad incident happened. Oh, I don't want to stay here. I want to move somewhere. No, because of some bad incident, you cannot take decision. When you're taking decision, we should have some peace of mind and think twice before you take action. And if they're clear with what they want, we should strongly encourage. We should not stop them.
This is interesting. Like when you said when they have the thought of, oh, I want to switch, then it's probably like something you should take seriously.
Yeah.
I see. And then my last question, what matters most to you and why?
For me, my family matters a lot to me, and my family's happiness, my happiness. Yeah.
Would you say it's the same in your career? Like you value happiness?
Yeah, in my career, like now, I mean, so far, I really didn't have any bad experiences which I regret. So far, my career wise, like touch wood, like so far, all my mentors were good and all my work was good. So it was all like good to me. So I never really had any bad experiences that I regret or feel bad about it. So so far,
I
so
see.
good. Yeah.
And then, actually, last question. What's next for you? Like, what do you want to achieve long term?
I want to, my long term goal is like, I want to be like an engineering manager or something like that.
Oh, so like coding and people management at the same time?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good luck. I wish you all the best. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a nice interaction and it was a nice chat, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed this too. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, really. I mean, I was able to freely talk what I mean, you will not get people so freely available, right? So to talk, like even if you want to talk, there won't be anybody to talk with. So I'm so glad you had me here.
Yeah.